Okay, welcome back. And of course, in the last 12 hours or so, the whole world is on tilt on what's going on in the Middle East, especially with Israel attacking Iran. I am so honored that he's squeezed out a few moments to talk to us this morning. Our good friend Chris Mitchell, he is the host of Jerusalem Dateline, seen right here on the Dove Television Network, and you see him often on the CBN News, where he is the Middle East Bureau Chief. So, Chris, good to see you, friend. Prayers and blessings, friend. How you doing, buddy?
Doing well, Perry. As you say, the last 12 hours has really changed here things in Jerusalem and the entire Middle East.
Are you locked
We
down?
got the news early. What's that?
Are you guys locked down? Is all of the country locked down?
Uh, no. Well, I think around 3 o'clock early this morning, there were sirens that went out, and people were told to not go to work. Certainly, school was closed. But we're not locked down in that regard.
Okay.
Actually, things have quieted down just a bit here because the retaliation by Iran, about 100 or so drones, most of them were eliminated even before they got to Israeli territory. So I think so far it's been, believe it or not, very quiet. It's almost like a Shabbat here today with no people at work or at school. But also, of course, everybody's anticipating what may happen. But I think a lot of people here in Israel, and I would say even Iran, are celebrating what the IDF today, which some military experts say was just an epic attack against Iran's nuclear facilities, air defenses, and also the senior leadership of the IRGC.
It's just amazing, the precision of this. And this is the first wave. Most of the reports over here in the West are saying there's more to come. Is that true?
More to come. And even as we speak, Perry, I think attacks are going on throughout Iran, and they have a series of targets to hit that include, as I said, the air defenses, the main enrichment facility there in Iran at Natanz. But also they have eliminated in our 700 Club report earlier today. We mentioned three, but there was a whole list of senior IRGC and Iranian army senior leadership that was targeted and eliminated, very similar to what happened with Hezbollah sometime last year. And as we said, the precision is remarkable. This had been months, actually years in the planning, Perry.
Yeah.
Iran's nuclear program first was on the world stage in 2002. So we've been reporting on that ever since. And so years in the planning and months in speculation whether or not this would actually happen. But it did. It happened, Perry, actually on the 61st day of the deadline that President Trump had given to Iran. He said he had a 2-month deadline to make sure that they negotiated the elimination of their enrichment program. They refused that. The negotiations were supposed to happen, continue on Sunday, but on day 61, the IDF began the attack.
We know that the attacks have been very precision, and they seem to be hitting their targets. Do you know at this point, Chris, if the uranium enrichment has been destroyed in other nuclear facilities?
Well, I believe the one I mentioned, Natanz, is the main enrichment facility that has been damaged significantly. I think that was the head of the IAEA told Israeli President Isaac Herzog that. There are two other facilities, one in Fordo, one in Isfahan, and I don't believe they have been attacked yet. But many other parts of the Iranian nuclear facilities have been attacked, and more to come. I mean, they're saying that this is not going to be just a one-off. It's not going to be one day. It's going to be days of attacks against Iran.
We are seeing that the U.S. Navy is dispatching some more ships to that area. We already have a heavy influence there. Do you think we will get involved?
Well, right now, according to Secretary of State Marco Rubio, the U.S. is not directly involved. However, I believe to some degree they are indirectly involved. And what I think that may include would be air refueling. There was actually video over Syria of one of the Israeli jets being refueled I don't think that's from Israel's Air Force, actually. So that might be the United States. They're also likely providing intelligence, and I think there was a lot of coordination behind the scenes between Israel political and military leadership leading up to today.
Iran, it was reported that Iran's military was weakened before this attack. And do you think now even more weakened, which will reduce their capabilities of any significant retaliation?
Yes, I believe so. They were last April and last October. There were two attacks by Israel against much of Iran's air defenses, so it was vulnerable, and that was one of the reasons why Israel wanted to attack now rather than wait longer, so Iran could build up its air defenses. So that's one factor, and they apparently fired 100 drones. Earlier today, as I said, most of them were eliminated. Last April and October, they sent maybe 300 projectiles each attack, and about 99% of them were eliminated. So it remains to be seen, Perry, and I'm not sure exactly what Iran has left in its arsenal that it can attack Israel with any major blows. There's a lot of bluster. There's from the Ayatollah Khomeini and some of the remaining Iranian military leadership, but I'm not sure exactly what they can do to Israel right now.
You got to assume that the Ayatollah knows that Israel knows where he's at.
Well, supposedly he's in hiding right now, but with the kind of intelligence and the precision they've had just in the last 12 to 16 hours, you probably imagine they know where he's at. And one other thing, Perry, that this leads to the conversation is what happens. Could this mean the end of the regime? There has been a great deal of opposition against the regime. Most of the Iranians do not like the regime, despise the regime, oppose the regime. But right now, so far, there hasn't been any organized effort by disparate parts of that opposition to overthrow the regime. Whether or not this could be a game changer remains to be seen. But we've been tracking with some of the people on X and hearing what people are saying inside Iran, and they're relieved, they're happy, they're celebrating, and they want this regime to fall.
I can't help but think that's a sub-goal of all of this. I mean, the primary goal is to denuke it, but the sub-goal has got to create some kind of a regime change.
I think so, and I think, let's see, UN Ambassador Danny Danone was on the 700 Club earlier today with Gordon Robertson, and Gordon asked that question, but as Danny Danone said, the primary goal was to destroy Iran's nuclear facilities. Whether that has a secondary effect of destabilizing the regime in such a way that it would be vulnerable to be overthrown, people in the streets, we'll see. But that was not Israel's primary effort. But I would say that Prime Minister Netanyahu said in his statement last night that the liberation of the Iranian people is not that far away.
Is the accord hanging together, and how is this affecting Qatar?
Yes, I believe the Accords, the Abraham Accords, is holding together. There was a statement by Saudi Arabia earlier today condemning the attack, but that's what they're saying in public. In private, I'm sure they are celebrating this because Saudi Arabia is a mortal enemy of Iran, as much, if not more so, than Israel. So I think the Abraham Accords are holding. Now, Qatar is a different story because Qatar has been an ally of Iran and actually and a supporter of Hamas and the Muslim Brotherhood for years, and they support radical Islam. So they are probably a separate issue than the Abraham Accords and the UAE and possibly Saudi Arabia joining.
One last question, Chris, and again, thank you for your time. I know it's late over there. From a prophetic or biblical point of view or perspective, how should Christians interpret what's going on over there?
Well, we talked about that in Jerusalem Dateline. There's a scripture in Isaiah 41, verse 1, and I believe on Jeremiah 49, verse 39, that it talks about Elam, which is another word for Persia. So I think, and it talks about liberation of Persia in a broad sense. So I think that could be part of what we're seeing today. And I think we're seeing one more stepping stone towards, prophecy that continues to unfold here in the Middle East. We really have a privilege where you are, where we are, just to watch the world about prophecy unfolding before our eyes. And I think it's very important to be praying for God's purposes here in the region, specifically in Israel and Iran. Pray for the Iranian people, too, that they would be finally set free after 46 years of tyranny under the Islamic regime that began in 1979.
Do you think it's Israel's goal to complete this job? In other words, not just knock them down, but to knock it out?
Yes, I do. And like I said, it's not just one day, it's several days, if not more, that they will attack, and they continue the attack to continue to sort of beat this nuclear monster down so that it can never raise its head again. There had been talk that maybe this will degrade it, set it back a few months, a few years. That remains to be seen, and we'll see. But I do believe they want to defeat this nuclear monster that has been looming over the state of Israel and the Jewish people for since 2002.
It looks like, Chris, that they're staying away from the refineries. They're sticking primarily with the nuclear sites and capabilities and military sites, leaving the refineries alone, which is kind of a signal to the people, we still want you to have an economy. Or am I misreading that?
No, I think you're reading it correctly, Perry, that they, if the regime does fall, the people are going to need resources and revenue, and that's their main source of revenue is their oil facilities. And so that hasn't been touched in any major way yet. So I do believe that is a signal that Israel's saying, we don't want to destroy the economy. We're not attacking the people. We're attacking the regime.
And finally, what does this mean to the proxies, the Hamas, the Hezbollah, the Houthis, and even up in Syria? What does it say to them?
Well, it's a blow for them. And if you take a look at what happened since October 7th, when Iran had this sort of ring of fire with the Houthis, Hezbollah, and Hamas surrounding Israel, and all of those have been degraded dramatically. We could be seeing the end of Hamas in the Gaza Strip. Hezbollah is a shadow of what it was in 2023, and the Houthis as well, been degraded by both Israeli and U.S. attacks. So they should be wary of survival, I would think, because Iran was their source of revenue, arms, and all the things they needed to try to attack Israel.
Chris, thank you. I know it's late over there. You must be sleeping on about 3 minutes of sleep. And our thoughts and
It's great to be with you, Barry. I love to be with you.
I thank you. And our prayers for safety and protection with you and your family. God bless you, friend. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Barry.